All right. This is Brutal Planet. This is Dustin. We're here with Margarita Monet from Edge of Paradise. And we're going to ask her a bunch of questions about the band, the new album, touring, and all that kind of stuff. How you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
So, ironically, searching for info on you guys today, I got articles about the Paradise Fire in the mix. But yeah, with all the stuff that's going on here. But been listening to the new album and wanted to ask you, how did the production of that go for you guys?
Yes, we're really excited about this album. When we started recording this third album, we just decided to put everything into it to make sure that, especially the production end, is top notch, because we really evolved as songwriters, and we just focused on writing the best songs and, having the best production. And we had Mike Plotnikov produce the record and Jacob Hansen mix it. And for the sound, it was like the best team for us.
Yeah, quality-wise, you can definitely hear it's definitely a step up for you guys. From what I could hear. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about too is I noticed there's a lot of like kind of more dancey stuff in there. Was that intentional? Did you guys go into the studio thinking, hey, we're going to branch out a little more this time into different styles?
It was a bit of both, because when we go in to make music, we never really have an intention of anything. We just kind of start, evolving ideas. But we just kind of let those ideas evolve. And like, for example, I taught music for a very long time, and that's how, it helped fund the band. So...
You taught music?
For like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
When we started, I taught piano and vocals. And I would have all these, kids come in, bringing these songs. And like the lyrics are just, like 5-year-olds singing Nicki Minaj. It's just a bit disturbing. So I always wanted to create music that has some substance and meaning to it, but is also appealing to the younger generation. Just kind of have that really upbeat dance vibe that could appeal to that audience as well.
Yeah. Some of it even like reminds me of like, like Rob Zombie or some of that style of like kind of like dancier metal. Another question I wanted to ask you, what would you say are your biggest musical influences? Like, what kind of got you into music? What made you want to be a musician?
I started, I grew up in Moscow, and since I was like 2 or 3, my mom kind of threw me into music and dance and theater. So I was always into that. Okay. And I was very serious playing classical piano. I used to practice like 5 hours a day, and it was my thing for a very long time, pretty much until I went to college. So music was something that I always, it was always a big part of my life, but I never envisioned myself fronting a band. It was just kind of never even crossed my mind that I could do something like that. But I secretly wanted to, because my parents had like these VHS tapes of Led Zeppelin and Queen performing live. Okay. And it would just completely mesmerize me. But I was just such in a different world of, classical music and theater that it was, far-reached for me. So kind of cool how it all came about.
My brother listens to a lot of classical, and a lot of those pianists that do those like really intense pieces, like the Mozart and stuff, that play those like concert-wise, are Russian women. Like, so I can only imagine how much practice that kind of stuff takes. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, and you constantly have to practice because your fingers. Yeah, it's kind of like athletes in the hand.
Totally, it's like finger athletics. Like we were watching this woman, and she comes out and she's got like this perfect like Victorian dress and like a just like done up perfectly, and then just like shreds the piano like nothing nice. Like
yeah.
So anyway, I'm sure that like it sounds like that's kind of like a cultural thing almost, like in Russia.
A little bit, yeah, because it's weird over there when because for example, here, people, like, to me, they came and just did it for fun. But over there, if you're playing piano, you're going to dance or whatever you're doing, you have to take it very seriously.
Right.
I think part of it is because it's free. A lot of the schools are free. Government, it's funded. So the schools, they can kick you out. If you're not good, they just kick you out.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to do it, you have to be good.
You got to be the best in your class.
Yeah, pretty much.
So do you listen to a lot of metal? Would you say you listen to a lot of metal personally?
Yeah, especially later when I was about, I think, 18, 19, I discovered I was into Marilyn Manson for a while, System of a Down, Korn, 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
So I really like that sound. And, lately, we've been really liking Rammstein, and I really like industrial metal, but I also like kind of a bit of a symphonic sound as well. And
sure.
I think you can hear that in our music. We try to, it's kind of mix it all together.
Yeah, there's definitely a classical edge to it. So next question would be, do you listen to anything outside of metal? Like, who would you say your biggest influences would be, like, outside of metal? Do you have any, like, pop influences, or do you listen to anything eccentric, like country or hip hop, or? When I used to teach, I had to teach a lot of pop songs, and okay.
Kind of drove me crazy. But right now, lately, we've been just writing our music, and we've been focusing on that so much that I haven't really been listening to anything.
Okay.
Because people always ask, like, what influenced the record, and nothing really.
Okay.
We just try to put a lot of ourselves into it.
Sure.
And of course, from what we've heard before, because, I've been listening to music my whole life, and that probably seeped into it. But I can't really say that, there's one particular record or band or, influenced it.
That you could mention. Got you. No, I think I'm kind of a music geek myself, so I listen to a lot of different stuff, and I'm like, sometimes I'll listen to a song and go, I wonder if she, like, listens to Lana Del Rey or something, like, maybe she's influenced by, like, this singer or something like that,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really good singers out there. Lana Del Rey does a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, I hear a lot of the new music, just because, I like hearing music, especially when I'm driving. I used to like some of the 30 Seconds to Mars songs. I like, 9 Inch Nails. I like the soundtracks. I love listening to movie soundtracks, and Trent Reznor has been doing a lot of movie soundtracks lately.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer. I love that epic sound.
Oh yeah, Hans Zimmer's great.
Cinematic.
Yeah, and you guys' music definitely has kind of that cinematic feel to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so another question. Lately, in the last, like, maybe 10 or so years, there's been a lot more bands come up with that are fronted by women. Are there, like, other women in metal or other bands that you kind of have a camaraderie with, or, like, that you're close with in the world of female metal singers?
I wouldn't really say that right now. Just we're kind of isolated because a lot of those bands are in Europe, and we kind of exchange words on the internet.
Yeah.
But I think once we start touring a lot, we'll probably cross paths with a lot of them, and form some friendship, camaraderie. But we've just kind of been out here doing our thing and really focusing, because it just takes so much time. So we haven't really, been able to form any kind of bonds between other bands yet with female singers.
Got you. So it's funny, one of the first places I heard of your band was in the 24-Hour Fitness magazine. They did a thing on you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool, because it was kind of like I think a lot of people don't realize what a grind touring is. They just think, like, oh, you're a rock star, or you just go, and it was kind of interesting. You were talking about, staying kind of, like, fit on tour, and, like, being able to do those shows and everything. So I don't know, I guess speak a little to that. Like, what's your routine on the road?
Yeah, I think it's important to say that, because being on the road, especially, when people think of like a touring rock band, they think, oh yeah, drugs.
Yeah, you're just partying all the time.
None of us drink. We're just, we try to go to the gym and, eat healthy, especially for me, because my instrument is my voice, so I'm always kind of paranoid about that. Especially now with the tour coming up, we have 28 shows back to back. Yeah, you got to hold together for that. It takes a lot of endurance, So I think just keeping yourself healthy and fit really helps on stage, especially with kind of high energy music that we do. So especially some of the guys in the band, they're kind of into bodybuilding a little bit, because they like that look. So I think it's cool, it's better than just kind of letting yourself go. And also, if you take care of yourself, we want to have long careers and we want to be doing this for a long time. Totally. So, I mean, I would imagine it makes your performance better. Like, you want to give the best possible performance to your fans. So. Yes, exactly. That's as well. Yeah. So another thing I wanted to touch on a little bit is, I think, like, with being a woman in metal, it's kind of interesting to me, because I was noticing the other day, since you have a higher register, it's like some of these bands, with all due respect to guys like Halford and Bruce Dickinson, in their older age, it's a little bit harder for them to hit some of those notes, those like higher notes. And so I think it's kind of cool to hear the evolution of like a lot more female singers, just because, when I listen to the stuff you guys are doing, for example, it's pretty, it just sounds so much more kind of, natural, I guess. Women tend to have higher voices, I guess. Some have bigger ranges, but it's all, I guess, comes down to people's preference also when they listen to music. I myself have a little bit of a higher voice, but I think it's important to find a balance in that as well, because I remember our earlier songs, it was just a lot of high notes. And I think even for myself, when I'm listening to it, I'm like, a bit too much. So I always try to, have some dynamic and also have a range in the song. So when I do hit the high notes, it kind of has more impact. And also, as singers, we all evolve and we all keep growing, and it's part of the journey to just kind of become better and better. And okay, a couple more things and then we can wrap up. Let's see. So at the end of this album, there's an instrumental track. Do you play keys on that live or anything, or is that kind of a break song for you during live shows? We haven't done that song live. I don't think we will do it for a while, because like for these tours, we're support band. Oh, okay. So we get about 40 minutes. So yeah, but once we get a longer set, and I would love to play keys. I mean, on all the songs they play keys. So once we get bigger, have more of our stage setup, I'd love to put like a keyboard, maybe grand piano eventually. Yeah, that's awesome. Have some of that in the set. When you guys do, you like maybe your own headline tour at some point. All right. What kind of stuff do you do outside of the band? Do you have like any hobbies that interesting stuff that you do outside of music? Well, not really, because music takes up all my time. But I do tie in, because I love art, so I paint a lot. Okay. And I tie it into the band. Like for the album, I made box sets for each song on the album, and it's a painted wooden box that will come with a CD and some other items. That's cool. And I also paint vinyls, and fans have been liking that, so I've been trying to do a little bit of that. All right, and then last question for you. Where are you guys going to be touring in the coming year? Where can our audience go see you guys live? Well, in 10 days, we're going to be in Europe. Our first show is in Sweden, November 11th, and we are touring with Sonata Arctica, so it's going to be through December 15th. It's about 15 countries in Europe. And then we have a U.S. tour with Hammerfall, U.S. and Canada. And it's 30 shows, and tickets are already on sale for both of these tours. And there's going to be a third tour announcing soon. So we're going to be on the road a lot.
You're gonna
and
be busy.
in between, we'll be recording for the next album. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, keep them busy then. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time today, amidst all the chaos in Los Angeles.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Always love talking and, about the music. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. And we'll see you out there on the road. Hopefully we'll see you guys live soon.
Definitely.
All right.
All right.